Good morning, honored guests, Gold Star mothers, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the 215th birthday celebration of the United States Marine Corps. During the ceremony, you are requested to stand during the entrance and exit of the color guard, playing of our national anthem, the chaplain's prayer, and honors for the commanding general. It will not be necessary to rise during the entrance or exit of the historical colors. It is fitting and proper that we pause briefly to reflect upon the events of this day, our Corps, our nation, and to pay homage to our fallen comrades. Please rise as Chaplain J.W. Grove, Command Chaplain, leads us in prayer.
Let us pray. It is appropriate, O Lord, that this pageant commemorating the 215th anniversary of the Marine Corps be held on Election Day. From the halls of Montezuma to the shores of Tripoli, and now to the borders of Saudi Arabia and Kuwait, Marines have stood tall and proud in the service of this great nation. The freedoms which we enjoy are directly tied to those countless men and women who have served in defense both of this nation and those freedoms. We pause in these moments, O God, to thank you for our nation and the principles upon which it was founded, including the right of its people to determine its destiny. As we celebrate this 215th anniversary, enable each of us to understand that we too must be willing to commit our lives and our service so that our nation and our world would become a better place for our children and our children's children. As in the past, continue to be with our deployed comrades who are now serving on the land, in the air, and at sea around the world. Keep them safe from harm's way, and hasten the day when they can return safely to their loved ones and the land they love and serve. In your name we make this prayer. Amen.
Please be seated. Commands, parade, rest. During our Corps' history, a number of flags have flown over this great nation. As part of our birthday celebration, we present the flags that have transcended our country's history. In the early years of our country, the Marines protected our shores under English flags. The King's colors of red, white, and blue flew above these shores for many years. During the Revolutionary War, Marines also fought under many banners, all symbols of a new felt freedom. It was during the Revolutionary War that flags appeared with alternating red and white stripes with stars on a field of blue. Although there have been minor modifications throughout the years, this flag established the pattern of our flag of today. After the War of 1812, Congress decreed that our flag would remain at 13 stripes with one new star for each added state that joined the Union. This flag is thus the pattern for our flag of today. Commands, attention. Please rise for the presentation of our national colors. Included in the color guard are the colors of the Marine Corps Air Ground Combat Center, Headquarters Battalion, Marine Wing Support Squadron 173, Combat Service Support Detachment 12, and Schools Battalion, Marine Corps Communication Electronic Schools. Today there are 50 stars in the glorious flag of our nation. This is Old Glory. For 10 score years, it has been the banner of hope and freedom for generation after generation of Americans. Born amid the first flames of America's fight for freedom, it is the symbol of a country that has grown from a group of 13 colonies to a united nation of 50 sovereign states. So long as men love liberty more than life itself, so long as they treasure the priceless privileges bought with the blood of their forefathers, so long as the principles of truth, charity, and justice for all remain rooted in human hearts, the Stars and Stripes shall continue to be the enduring banner of the United States of America. Commands, present arms. Ladies and gentlemen, our national anthem. Commands, order arms. Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. Commands, parade rest. At this time, we present our historical pageant. November 10th, 1775. The Placestown Tavern in Philadelphia, the Continental Congress has resolved that 2 battalions of Marines be formed. Robert Mullen was appointed a captain of Marines and became the first recruiting officer in the Marine Corps. As early as May of 1775, Marines took part in the Revolution. Captain Samuel Nicholas led the first successful landing operation, a raid on New Providence in the Bahamas. Continental Marines participated in every phase of the war. It was here that Marines acquired the name Leathernecks. Shortly after independence, the growing nation began to realize the importance of a strong Navy and a Corps of Marines. In 1805, Lieutenant Presley O'Bannon led his Marines, along with Arab and Greek mercenaries, across 600 miles of North Africa. At the end of their trek, O'Bannon's troops captured a fortress in Tripoli, which was defended by Barbary pirates. For the first time in history, the American flag flew over a fortress in the Old World. November 10th, 1812. 1812 added more credits to the young Corps. Marines again distinguished themselves by taking part in every naval engagement. Along with Army troops, Marines participated in an amphibious expedition that captured Toronto in 1813. A detachment of Marines and sailors fought at the Battle of Bladensburg, valiantly holding the field after all other American troops had fled. Marines gave a good account of themselves in the repulse of the British at New Orleans and were greatly commended for their service. November 10, 1836. Colonel Archibald Henderson volunteers a regiment of Marines to assist the Army fighting Indians in Florida. The Marines campaigned in the southern swamps fighting the Creeks in Georgia and the Seminoles in Florida. In 1837, Colonel Henderson became the Corps' first general officer. General Henderson remained the Commandant of the Marine Corps for 38 years under 9 presidents. November 10, 1840. America is at war with Mexico. A battalion of Marines provided the storming parties for the assault and capture of Mexico City. With Marines in the lead, Army and Marine troops captured the castle Chapultepec. In memory of the bloody battle, Marine officers and NCOs still wear a red stripe along the seams of their dress blue trousers. It was also this battle which inspired the opening line of the Marines' hymn, "From the halls of Montezuma to the shores of Tripoli." November 10, 1860. A colorful yet tragic era of American history began when brothers were pitted against one another in the war between the states. When the Civil War began in 1861, Marines served mostly on naval vessels. In 1862, Marines became the first Union troops to enter New Orleans. November 10, 1898. In February, the battleship Maine is blown up and sunk in the Havana harbor. Remember the Maine became the battle cry for Americans. By April, Spain had declared war on the United States. Marine Lieutenant Colonel Huntington landed his battalion at Guantanamo Bay, Cuba in June. A month prior to the Battle of San Juan Hill, U.S. Marines were the first American troops to establish a beachhead. The Marines had once again proven themselves to the American people. November 10, 1917. Marines have come a long way from duty on sailing ships. By February 1918, the 4th Marine Brigade is formed in France. For the first time on record, a Marine General, John A. Lejeune, commanded an Army division in combat. In 20 days of fighting, the Marine Brigade fought and defeated 2 of Germany's most distinguished divisions. The Battle of Belleau Wood earned the Croix de Guerre for this spirited Marine Brigade. In this and later battles, the German armies were impressed enough to name the American Marines Devil Dogs. a name still held in pride by the Marines. During World War I, Marines were introduced to many new ideas, which would later be accepted as part of the Corps. A place called Paris Island, a machine called the airplane, and women called marionettes. November 10th, 1918. Women volunteers were used in the growing Marine Corps as clerical workers, and even though the Marionettes disbanded following the Big War, subsequent wars proved the importance of women Marines. November 10th, 1925. The years between the two world wars saw the Marine Corps develop specialized equipment and doctrines. The men who would lead Marines to fame and victory in World War II were serving their apprenticeships in the so-called Banana Wars. While an entire Marine brigade was fighting rebels in Nicaragua, Marine aviators developed a tactic called close air support in Quantico, Virginia, and a group of officers wrote a manual which would later be the basis for every successful amphibious operation in World War II. November 10th, 1942. America goes to war after being attacked by the Japanese at Pearl Harbor. Marines fought with valor in the futile defense of Guam, Wake, and Corregidor. The first Allied offense in the Pacific was naturally accomplished by Marines. In August of '42, the 1st Marine Division landed on the beaches of Tulagai and Guadalcanal. The Marines went on to even greater victories on many more Japanese-held islands in the Pacific: Bougainville, Tarawa, New Britain, Roy Namur, Eniwetok, Saipan, Tinian, Peleliu, Iwo Jima, and Okinawa. Marines secured bloody and spectacular victories in every instance. Also in 1942, November 10, 1942, the United States Marine Corps Women's Reserve was authorized by Congress. Their slogan was "Free a Man to Fight," which they did very effectively by working in over 200 job classifications, ranging from accountant to woodworking machine operator. The great majority filled clerical billets, and by June 1944 had taken over a major share of the administration at stateside bases. They insisted on being called Marines and wore the Marine Corps emblem with pride. When the war ended in August 1945, General Vandergrift remarked that the women Marines were responsible for putting the 6th Marine Division into the field. They had freed many men to fight. Today's woman Marine continues to effectively serve our country and Corps in every occupational specialty except those directly involved in combat. Their selfless dedication has continued to enhance the ability of our Marine Corps to respond quickly to the needs of our country. November 10th, 1950. The United Nations branded Communist North Korea as an aggressor against the world community. By August, the 1st Marine Brigade was on duty defending the Pusan perimeter. In September, a landing was made at Incheon behind enemy lines, which forced the North Korean army to retreat. Suddenly, Communist Chinese forces by the thousand joined with the North Koreans. The Marines were left behind to protect the withdrawal of UN forces. Completely surrounded and outnumbered, the Marine commander was asked by reporters if he intended to retreat. He replied, "Retreat hell, we're just attacking in another direction." And attack they did. The march back from the chosen reservoir proved again that Marines fight best when faced with impossible odds. November 10th, 1965. When Marines landed at Da Nang in early 1965, it seemed to be just another in a series of routine deployments. In the Republic of Vietnam, Marines learned to fight a new type of war and initiated a new doctrine called civic action, a fight for the hearts and minds of the people. November 10th, 1990. The men and women of the Navy Medical and Dental Corps, as well as the Chaplain Corps, are proving once again that they can stand shoulder to shoulder with the fighting Marines. The man we call Doc, the medical corpsman, is an angel of mercy to the wounded Marine. Being a Marine in war or peace calls for special internal strength, and ministering to those needs is the Navy's Chaplain Corps. In combat or in garrison, men like Medal of Honor recipient Vincent Capodanno, the chaplain is a friend, a counselor, and a spiritual leader to all Marines, regardless of rank or faith. Also in 1990, the Marine Corps of today is based on the concept of the air-ground team. Marine aviators flying helicopters, transport aircraft, and high-performance jet aircraft give Marines mobility and fire superiority in every situation. The air-ground team makes the Marine Corps the nation's force in readiness. A Marine of 1990 looks very different than the seafaring Marine of 1775. Their common pride and esprit de corps, however, distinguish them from any other fighting man in history. This same legacy continues today as Marines and sailors of the 1st Marine Expeditionary Force stand at the ready in Southwest Asia. The high standard of combat readiness expected of the Marine Corps has again been manifested. Whether serving in Saudi Arabia, Liberia, or in the Philippines, Marines worldwide continue to certify that our Corps of today is indeed a worthy successor to our noble past and ready to meet the challenges of the future. At this gathering, there are men who wrote the history of the Marine Corps with their own sweat and blood. Somewhere in this crowd, you will find a veteran of the Pacific Campaign. You are surrounded by men who fought in Vietnam. These men were not surprised when they heard of the valiant deeds of the Rockpile, Con Thien, Quai Son, Grenada, Lebanon, or the countless other. Like every Marine before them, they're still ready to answer the call. Always ready, always faithful. America can still depend on her leathernecks. On November 1st, 1921, John A. Lejeune, 13th Commandant of the Marine Corps, directed that a reminder of the honorable service of the Corps be published by every command to all Marines throughout the globe on this birthday of the Corps. Therefore, in compliance with the will of the 13th Commandant, Article 38, United States Marine Corps Manual, edition of 1921, is republished as follows. On November 10, 1775, a Corps of Marines was created by a resolution of the Continental Congress. Since that date, many thousand men have borne the name Marine. In memory of them, it is fitting that we who are Marines should commemorate the birthday of our Corps by calling to mind the glories of its long and illustrious history. The record of our Corps is one which will bear comparison with that of the most famous military organizations in the world's history. During 90 of the 146 years of its existence, the Marine Corps has been in action against the nation's foes. From the Battle of Trenton to the Argonne, Marines have won foremost honors in war and in the long era of tranquility at home. Generation after generation of Marines have grown gray in war in both hemispheres and in every corner of the seven seas, that our country and its citizens might enjoy peace and security. In every battle and skirmish since the birth of our Corps, Marines have acquitted themselves with the greatest distinction, winning new honors on each occasion until the term Marine has come to signify all that is highest in military efficiency and soldierly virtue. This high name and distinction and soldierly repute we who are Marines today have received from those who have preceded us in the Corps. With it we also received from them the eternal spirit which has animated our Corps from generation to generation and has been the distinguishing mark of the Marines in every age. So long as that spirit continues to flourish, Marines will be found equal to every emergency in the future as they have been in the past, and the men of our nation will regard us as worthy successors to the long line of illustrious men who have served as soldiers of the sea since the founding of the Corps. The following is from our 29th Commandant on this November 10th, 1990. As we commemorate the 215th anniversary of our Corps, we celebrate our heritage, a heritage embodied by extraordinary achievements, legendary performances, and the quiet competence of countless Marines simply doing what had to be done. It is also a time that we rededicate ourselves to the standards of excellence set by those who have gone before us, and reaffirm our sense of purpose and commitment as United States Marines. From the first colonial volunteers, recruited by Captain Samuel Nicholas, to the present day, to be a United States Marine has meant to be a privileged member of a proud family. A family of warriors whose imperatives for the future remain as our legacies from the past: courage, dedication, and the willingness to sacrifice. Today, the world is once again witness to America's resolve. And, as in the past, Marines are in the apex of the storms, demonstrating their courage, their dedication, their willingness to sacrifice. Whether entrenched in the sands of Saudi Arabia, evacuating endangered Americans in Liberia, providing earthquake disaster relief in the Philippines, or participating at home and abroad in the counter-narcotics war, Marines worldwide continue to certify that our Corps of today is indeed a worthy successor to our noble past and ready to meet the challenges of the future. Whether assigned to our operational forces or supporting them, we who are privileged to wear the Eagle Globe and Anchor remain a visible symbol of reassurance to our nation's allies and deterrence to her foes. But the sphere of our influence and the dimension we add to the security of the land we love so well is not measured by our numbers, but by the strength of our character. Doing what must be done, doing it right, and doing it smartly. And so as we begin our 216th year, we march to the standards of courage, dedication, and willingness to sacrifice that America has come to expect from her Corps. And as we close another chapter to the illustrious history of our Corps and open the pages of a new one, let us not forget the extraordinary sacrifices made by our families. They who endure the hardships that separation and uncertainty inevitably bring. We could not do what must be done without their compassion, their understanding, their support. And so, Marines, to you, your families, our retired community, and to our civilian employees who so ably support us, happy birthday and Semper Fidelis. A.M. Gray, General, U.S. Marine Corps, Commandant of the Marine Corps. The inspiring messages of our 13th and 29th Commandants have left their mark in the hearts and minds of all Marines. By deed and act from Guadalcanal to Iwo Jima, from Incheon to the Korean Armistice, from the Dominican Republic to Vietnam, from Lebanon and Grenada to Saudi Arabia, Marines have continued to epitomize those qualities which are their legacy. The success they have achieved in combat and the faith they have borne in peace will continue. The Commandant and our many friends add their hearty praise and congratulations on this, our 215th birthday. Marines of the Combat Center commemorate the birthday of our Corps by calling to mind events of our past, events which have given meaning and strength to our motto, Semper Fidelis, always faithful, faithful to the Corps, faithful to country, and faithful to our comrades. Throughout the world for over 200 years, Marines have kept the colors of our nation flying high, unfurled to every breeze. The national colors and battle standards displayed here today are living symbols of the sacrifices of those who have gone before us. Commands, attention. Ladies and gentlemen, our Commanding General, Brigadier General James E. Livingston, Commanding General of the Marine Corps Air Ground Combat Center. Commands, present arms. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for honors to the Commanding General. Commands, order arms. Brigadier General Livingston is accompanied by the Marine Corps Air Ground Combat Center Sergeant Major R.E. McTavish. Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. Commands, parade, rest. Ladies and gentlemen, our Commanding General, Brigadier General James E. Livingston.
Good morning. As you probably noted around the field, we're filming this pageant this morning, and the purpose of that is to send it to the Marines in Saudi Arabia and also our Marines on Okinawa. So to give them a general reminder of what McCaxey is all about, I would like for you to join me this morning and tell those Marines hello. So when I count to three, first of all, I want to say hello to the Marines in Saudi Arabia. And secondly, to three, hello to 3-7 and the other Marines from McCaxey and Okinawa. So the first is Saudi Arabia, and the second one is Okinawa. So 1, 2, 3, hello Saudi Arabia. 1, 2, 3, hello Okinawa. Well, I really thought we had some command voices this morning. I'm not sure where the Marine Corps is going here with all these young fellas. I note, however, during this week, Marines and sailors gather many climes and places. Although they gather in diverse places, we share this morning some common bonds or traits that unite to make us very unique. Marines take care of their own. Marines are always faithful. Marines are traditional. Let me share this morning my experiences with each of these. First, taking care of our own means that families are important. Our civilian employees are important. And our local communities are important. Taking care of our own means that Marines on our right, our left flank, or in the next fighting hole are important. Taking care of our own means that families of deployed Marines and sailors are very important. They have been and continue to be many acts today of selfless service. For that, I express my great appreciation. Second, Marines are always faithful. It is important to note that the job each of you is doing here at the Combat Center is vital in supporting our deployed units. Marines do the job to which they are assigned. Marines take pride in their work. Marines enjoy a camaraderie comparable to none. Marine families are a pillar of strength. Last, Marines are traditional. The purpose of today is to observe a tradition that is literally as old as our Corps, our birthday. Tradition is one of the bonds that holds our Corps together and draws us together today as brothers in arms, a real band of brothers. There are many reasons that this is so, not the least of which is the fact that tradition is a living thing. It's dynamic and never-ending. It tells a story we all contribute to. The most immediate evidence of this is one of the last three period Marines, the one portraying Southwest Asia. We didn't see him last year, and I would venture to say that some of the younger people here today, those in and out of uniform, will in years to come see this same ceremony decidedly different from that of today. Why dwell on tradition? It is the binding force, Marines, that hold us together. It makes you Marines in green uniforms today very special. It makes us accept nothing less than being a total winner. This binding must constantly, however, be maintained. Today is part of that maintenance process. We are strengthening today those ties that bind. What we do here today and for the future Marine Corps is part of that continuing process of building tradition. For this reason, it is imperative that each of us constantly strive to maintain and enhance our traditions. When we earn the title United States Marine and embrace the Eagle globe and anchor, we took on the high duty to receive, carry, and pass on to our successors those same noble traditions our predecessors offered us. As a result, today I want to join all of you, and this includes our retired, present, and future Marines, their families, our civilian employees who wear a different uniform but are Marines at heart, and our friends in the surrounding community, to rededicate yourself to the glorious and noble traits which makes our great country and our Corps so great. As we look forward to the next year, I challenge you to make this the best ever year for the Marine Corps, this command, and this great Morongo Basin community. Recommit yourself to uncompromising excellence to service. Commit yourself to strengthening your family. Commit yourself to 100% drug-free Corps, community, and country. Recommit yourself to being a total winner in the spirit of all Marines and sailors. And commit yourself to remembering always those who paid the ultimate sacrifice and who are represented here today by our Gold Star wives and mothers. Semper Fi, and have a happy 215th anniversary.
At this time, Brigadier General Livingston will cut our birthday cake. In accordance with Marine Corps tradition, the first piece of cake is given to the oldest Marine and the second piece to the youngest Marine at the Combat Center. The oldest Marine is Colonel Philip C. Cisneros. He was born April 9, 1932, and entered the Marine Corps in August 1950. Sergeant Major McTavish will cut the cake for the youngest Marine. The youngest Marine is PFC Daniel R. Slater. He was born April 14, 1973, and entered the Marine Corps in May 1990. Commands, attention. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise as the colors are retired.